Today, I thought I'd bring you along for a real no-frills kind of day. It's one of those days where the to-do list is long, but we're taking it slow and making some room for grace. I've got some laundry to fold, a few dishes calling my name, and dinner to figure out. And somewhere in between, I'm hoping for a quiet moment with a cup of something warm. So whether you're cleaning along, resting for a bit, or just keeping me company, I'm so glad you're here. Let's spend the day together. And now we're moving on to taking care of the animals, getting them fed, opening the curtains for them, and doing all the things that they expect me to do the minute that my eyes crack open, no matter what time that is. So I'm just filling all their food dishes, getting them water, and all the things that need to be done. I have to tell you guys that sleep in this house is becoming a massive issue. Between me and my perimenopause and insomnia, and Greg and all the medications that he takes, and lack of schedule, and anything else that you can add to it, it seems that our sleep schedules are all over the place. Last night, I actually took a melatonin just so that I could fall asleep at a normal hour, figuring that I'd sleep a little later, but nope, didn't happen. So this morning, we are up and at 'em, getting some coffee, and hopefully not to spend too much of my day napping, because that is something that I absolutely cannot stand. Does anybody else have a problem of feeling tired during the day? And how do you overcome feeling that way without taking a nap? So, how many of you on here struggle with daytime sleeping or insomnia at night? And how do you deal with it so that you are not wasting your day sleeping more than just even half an hour? For me, I have tried sleep medications and all kinds of different things. But with me having my issues and Greg waking up in the middle of the night and turning on the TV or talking to me or whatever, it just completely has my pattern messed up. I did sleep good last night with the melatonin, but I find that if I continue to use the melatonin, it causes more sleep disturbance during the day, that it makes me tired more so than ever throughout the entire day. So it clearly does not work quite the same with me as it does with a lot of other people, because I know a lot of other people can wake up from it feeling refreshed. And for me, like today, I feel fine. But if I take it again tonight, I will wake up tomorrow feeling like I have been run over by a Mack truck. So in the comments, tell me what your tips for getting to sleep and staying asleep are. I do sometimes come downstairs if Greg wakes up in the middle of the night so that I have a quiet place to sleep. But beyond that, sometimes I just cannot get back to sleep. So let me know what your tips are. I am open to trying whatever, and we'll go from there, I guess. My go-to breakfast recently in the mornings has been a bagel and some coffee, and maybe a touch of orange juice. I think I need to start getting out, taking walks, because I think that lack of exercise is probably contributing to things as well as not getting enough sunshine. I love watching the birds out on the suet feeder, watching them hang upside down and do all their little antics to try to get the suet out of the feeder. They empty this out so quick. As crazy as it sounds, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I already need a nap. I got up with Greg, I made him coffee, I fed the animals, and now it is time, hi Luck, to get some more rest. I only had about 4 hours of sleep last night, so Lucky and I are going to take a nap. I'll be back in just a little bit. Bye bye. Well, I tried to sleep, but I couldn't, so now I'm going to get some of these dishes done. No matter how good my intentions are, this area is always cluttered. Always. Another subscriber mentioned to me that her birds were eating up their food like crazy. And I have been watching what I spend on feeding them. And I think by the time that summer ends, I will have spent about $200 feeding the wild birds. That is a crazy thought to me. And you don't realize that you're doing it because you're doing it a little at a time. But it's worth it to me because we all enjoy watching them and the cats do too. I'm pretty sure I've shown this to you guys before. It's my bird tea party, and I love watching the birds gather up to eat from there. And this is the tree that last summer Corey cut down and the stump that was left. And now it is time to get in here and feed these hungry kitty cats of mine. And yes, they do all eat happily together. And now it is time to get the table cleaned off now that they have left their paw prints all over the table. I'm going to clean it off. Not that it will last all that long, but at least it gets cleaned off. So is life with pets. And bingo, there's Max, up here to put his mark back on the table and to make sure that I know this table is his to sit and watch the birds. The cutest thing happens while I'm folding the laundry, so stay tuned and keep an eye on my laundry pile. tunnel and get stuck. Yeah, you got stuck. My knees are sick. All the help, all the helpers, all the helpers. At this point, I'm beginning to think that they all just are showing up at once to help. Because if you keep an eye out, Max will be here before you know it, because he is in charge. As we all know, he's the supervisor, and he's not just going to leave supervising up to Lulu and Oliver. No way. Come on, you're good. This bee showed up on my kitchen floor, upside down and acting as if he was dying. And I brought him outside and put him on the table, and he still didn't fly away. So Trevor went and got him a flower, and he seemed to be eating off it. And hours later, we went outside. Trevor went outside to see if he was still there, and he hopefully had flown away. Or either that he was carried away by something, but hopefully he flew away. Regardless, the flower did seem to perk him up a little bit, so hopefully it did help some. So come on in the kitchen and join me while I get dinner started. We're having mashed potatoes, green beans, bread, and meatloaf. But I'm quickly just wiping down the surfaces so I can get dinner started. I generally don't use bread in my meatloaf. I use breadcrumbs that are, from the store, or I'll use crackers, but I generally don't use bread. My bonus mother always used bread, and I always liked her meatloaf, so no reason not to use bread, right? So here we go. I pulled this out of the freezer, so I kind of have to smash the milk into it, but in the end, it worked, and I like to work with what I have on hand. I go through periods where I buy a lot of fresh peppers and onions, or sometimes I'll just buy them all in one bag frozen together, which is pretty convenient if you're just cooking with them. And I find it to be pretty cost effective as well. Here I am in northern Maine, and our potatoes are green. Go figure. So I'm doing extra peels on these potatoes to remove all the green, because I think we all know green on potatoes is toxic. So I do my best to remove all of it without throwing the potatoes away. And yes, I have a compost bin, and when I remember, I try to bring stuff out here and put it in. I don't claim to be an expert on composting. We just throw it all in, and eventually it should do its thing, we hope. We haven't had any problems with pests or insects or whatever other than what should be in there to break it down. So we just leave it be and turn it over every so often. And if I'm out here with the hose, I'll wet it down if we haven't had any rain. I brought my plants out way too early this season, and it really, really did a number on them. But the cats were doing a number on them anyway. But I all but killed all the leaves on my jade plant, but as you see, they're coming back. And now just a quick little cleanup before bed so that I can wake up to a clean kitchen and start my day off right. I love you. You are perfect as you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.